5 minutes to 8. Well, the Prime Minister, Bill English, has joined other leaders around the world in criticising the Trump administration's travel ban on 7 Muslim-majority countries. And the Prime Minister, Bill English, joins us now. Good morning.
Good morning, Guy.
Could I start with asking what the situation is with New Zealanders? There's been a bit of reporting around the world that there is an exemption for the Five Eyes countries, if you like, New Zealand, Australia, Canada, the UK, those others who are with the US. Is that true? Do New Zealand passport holders who are from those countries have an exemption under this policy?
We're checking up on that. I see there's stories that the Canadians do, that the Australians are seeking it. The impression I get is that the policy is unclear, but we'll be checking up on that. It's our expectation that if someone's travelling on a New Zealand passport, then they have that exemption.
Well, what assurances have you had that that is indeed the case?
None yet. That's why I've got to check up on it.
So have you sought that?
That process is underway.
What does that mean? Have you gone to the US, to our contacts, and said, "Hey, look, what is the situation with New Zealand passport holders?"
Well, that's what we will be. That's what we will be doing.
Have you done it?
No, it hasn't been done yet, as far as I'm aware.
Why not?
I'll be back in Wellington this morning to find out.
Why not? Why hasn't it been done yet?
As far as I'm aware, I'll catch up this morning with officials to see what progress has been made.
So you haven't asked them yet?
What's that?
You haven't asked them yet?
It's been discussed, but we've yet to see how far they've got.
So, because it's now Tuesday, so this has been going on for a number of hours now, a number of days. We still don't have any idea how this affects New Zealand passport holders.
I have had the formal advice that they're not aware of anyone who is affected by it. And that would be, information that you'd gather through consular activities. So that's, as far as I'm aware, there's no one with a Kiwi passport caught up in this change of policy. But we will have to check up on what the formal policy position is.
And you will be seeking exemptions, will you?
That's what I would expect. Yes.
And so will you be discussing this with Donald Trump in your phone call with him? It's scheduled for this week, is it?
There's no scheduled phone call. The process around a phone call has been a bit unpredictable, so we've yet to see what happens there.
So you'd be happy to buy into some sort of deal if there was a carve-out for New Zealanders?
Well, we would just expect people travelling on a New Zealand passport not to be caught up in this particular policy change.
Does that make us more complicit in the policy itself?
No, I don't think so. Look, it's in the first case, it's very unlikely we've got people with a Kiwi and Yemen passport for a start. Secondly,
hang on, we had a guy on Morning Report yesterday who's a lecturer at Victoria University who would be caught up in this. There are many Muslim New Zealanders who would be caught up in this.
Well, if they were, our objective is to ensure that New Zealand citizens are well treated and that they have the freedom of movement that they're used to having, and that'll be the basis of the discussions.
What do you think of this policy, the Trump policy?
We disagree with it and we wouldn't implement it. And I think the most important effect we need to deal with in New Zealand is to ensure that members of our community, Muslims who are here in New Zealand, can be reassured that we are not going to go in that direction. And
okay, that's pretty clear. I'm asking you what you think of the Trump policy. Is it racist?
Well, look, that's a matter for
No, it's a matter for you. I'm making it a matter for you. It's a matter of leadership. Is it a racist policy?
I don't believe it's a racist policy simply, but I'm not here to defend the policy, and I don't think it's. I don't think it's appropriate for you can look. People can call it all sorts of things.
Okay, well, let's call it by your own language. You said yesterday that it was a policy which discriminates among refugees. Now, doesn't that make it a racist policy?
No, it discriminates among them by which country they come from. And that's
isn't that the nature of racism?
Well,
hang on.
It's been called variously a Muslim ban. Look, again, I'm not going to get into the business of defending.
What are you afraid of?
Well, I'm not trying to defend or explain the policy. That is the job of the American government.
Isn't it the job of leaders around the world? You've come in to say that you wanted to assure New Zealand Muslims. Don't you tell them it's a racist policy?
Well, they'll make up their own minds about that. I'm telling them that New Zealand is not going to implement that policy. We disagree with it. And the tenor of my comments is pretty similar to comments made by leaders of other countries. In fact, in a number of countries where this is a much bigger issue than it is here.
All right. Well, thank you very much for joining us this morning. I do apologise, a little bit truncated because we are coming up to the 8 o'clock news, but we appreciate your time. Prime Minister Bill English.
Thank you.